Welcome. The topic this evening is embracing the dark feminine. Hello. Greetings. Welcome. I was moved to come on this evening to just talk a little bit about the divine feminine. So I wanted to open it properly by actually embracing my feminine energy by, getting the energy going a little bit with some movement. It's something that has been villainized, as we know, right? And what I've grown to understand now from where we are, and all of these energies is very apparent. All the exposure has really shown that women have been very oppressed and suppressed. We've been made to hide our beauty. Our sensuality, our sexuality has been villainized because it's powerful. I guess it threatens certain powers and energies. And so it's something that we all really need to look at, how to embrace this beautiful, mysterious, powerful, dark energy. When we say dark, we don't mean bad. We mean hidden, hidden from sight. It's like when a seed is in gestation or when a child is in the womb, it's in darkness. Yeah. And we've been taught to be afraid of darkness, which is where we all come from. We come from darkness. And another thing that I really have come to understand also is that idea that everything comes from the sun. Like the sun, of course, is really important. It's, our source of energy. But then we have to think of, what does the sun come from? And it still also comes from darkness. It's all inside of this mother womb universe. And we're not given that understanding that the darkness gives birth to it all, and that both are very important. There's no way that we could only have daytime. It wouldn't be sustaining. The darkness is equally as important as the light. They're both. It's all one. It's the polarity of the one. And so, especially as women, we need to, let me not even say that. Now, at this point in time, both men and women need to be very serious about dealing with the dark feminine, embracing the dark feminine, all of those yearnings and those things that we've pushed deep inside because it wasn't acceptable in the society that we live in. You know, Western society has no place for sensitive people. If you're not down with the oppression, if you're not down with seeing people, get beat down, being, oppressed, suppressed, unjustly punished just for being, it's basically broken everyone down to the point where people are completely desensitized to violence, completely desensitized to disrespect. It's like a way of life. Global Green Book. Yeah, we all have to tap into the dark energy and embrace it and like go through it. That's the only way to master it. Otherwise, it masters you, like quietly, because it's there. And anything that you suppress is going to be in control of you. So the point is for you to be in control of it. And the thing is that we're in such a serious point in time right now as far as the imbalance of the masculine energy, meaning, war, competition, anger, all of those things. And there are, of course, positive aspects of masculinity. This isn't about putting down men in any way. We're talking about energies that are out of balance. That's the whole point, is that they're out of balance. And so you have to work to put them into balance. And so this means that we have to get in touch with our bodies. Number one, our physical vehicles, because in like Christianity and these types of things, we've been given a lot of shame around dealing with our bodies, moving our bodies, enjoying our bodies, really working with our bodies. The society has actually told us that we need to give our bodies over and have someone else take care of our bodies. As far as in relationships, we've been told that men possess women, and that was really the structure. In fact, I had a really crazy experience today. I was surfing the web. I had been looking at this video of a man that is known as being a very powerful astro theologian. His YouTube channel is Mr. Astrotheology. It's Santos Bonacci. And, look him up. He has really great information on astrology and on how it corresponds to spirituality. But anyway, I digress. I'm saying that to say that I was watching his channel today. And while I was watching, on the side, on the scroll, on the chat, I saw that there were a lot of people from Atlanta, which was interesting to me. And I saw like brown people. So that was like interesting to me. I was happy to see brown people into the information, that there were a lot of people in the community. And one guy had come on and he said, "Peace, God." And, to me, I'm like, my antenna goes up. I'm like, what is that? 5%er? Is definitely, a Black person in one of the community groups. And I was watching it, or I saw that, and I was like, okay, let me check this person out, because they're watching Santos Bonacci. It's a Black man. And I'm thinking, I just like to really connect with conscious Black people. And, I like to see good examples. I look for them. So anyway, when he said, "Peace, God," I have to be honest, to me, usually that's a red flag, because of the way our community functions. A lot of the communities have gone so far over to, the masculine side, where it's on the misogyny and patriarchal side, where I really can't deal with those communities very much. Just keeping it real. So anyway, but I'm always looking for positive, intelligent people. And I look in all areas. I really don't care about color at any point anymore like that. I love African people. I'm attracted to African energies and powers and all of that. All I'm saying is that I don't base, I don't base anything off of just that. It's all energy. So if I'm attracted to, I'm attracted to. So anyway, I'm saying that to say that I looked this guy up to see his channel. And right when I went to his channel, he was doing a live. He had just posted a live. And I was really excited because I don't want to say his name because he's actually famous. It's like a big channel, which I had never seen before. And what I'm about to say isn't good. So I don't want to like slam him personally, but I will tell the story. So I got on and there was a group of people watching it. It was like premiering at that moment. And he was talking about being in nature and how much he loved to be in nature and how important it was to be a natural man as a Black man and all that. And I was like, all right, okay. And, I wrote in the chat, that it was my first time visiting the page, but I was happy to hear that I like what I was hearing, trying to give some, big ups to, when brothers are talking positivity, natural and all that. So I was really excited about it. I was listening. And I noticed while I was listening that there were no other women. I saw other men in the chat, talking or whatever. But anyway, that was cool. I wanted to be there in support of men talking about positive things. So anyway, I was there. And he was talking about nature and all of this. And then it kind of like took a turn because he started mentioning women in a way. He started talking about when women take children away from men in court, I guess, or, overall take children away. So, he was, sounding a little bitter, and I understood because I myself went through a very traumatic divorce and my ex took my children away. And that's a whole story that I'm going to share in one of my videos. So I was like, okay, I really understand that. I empathize with you because, yeah, it's messed up when parents take children away and it's not cool, and that's just a narcissist thing or whatever. So I'm just trying to, give some encouragement. And so then he started saying that a natural man has possession of his woman and has possession of his child, and that in a natural world, a natural man, if the woman tried to take the child away, he would kill her. Like, that's what he was saying, was that if a woman was trying to take her child away for any reason, that a man, because he owned her and the child, if he were a natural man, he would kill her. That's what he was saying. So, of course, then, that was really striking to me. There are a lot of men on that channel, and they were all like bigging up what he was saying and all that. And I was like, wow. Yeah, it is cult-like, actually. I mean, that's what it's called. Anyway, when he said that, I said, he was saying, yeah, a natural person, a natural man would kill their, the woman and the child. And so I said, well, that's the animal nature, but a God nature would be able to find other options, to that situation. And then the guy who was actually over the channel noticed my comment, and he said, I'm here. And I was like, greetings. I left it at that because I didn't. I didn't want to assume that he was saying that to be nasty. So anyway, I said greetings, and I kept watching his thing. And then someone else said something like, well, what would be the right thing to do or something. And I said, well, I put this in the chat. I said, well, for me, if I'm in a really serious situation, I consult God. I use oracles. That's what I would do. And then the guy responded and said, you're not teaching anything here. You need to, I don't know, step off or blah, blah, blah. And I basically swiftly said, I'm not trying to teach anything. I don't want to be anywhere where I'm not wanted. Thank you, or whatever. I left. I unsubscribed. And, then I went on to research who this person was. And I was very surprised. He has I think it's 87,000 followers. And he came from Atlanta. And he does have a group of people that follow him. I don't want to say his name because I don't want anybody from his group coming after me. Because people are crazy like that. I don't want to be involved. But my point in saying all of that is that there's a real demon spirit out there that is, he calls himself a chief and some kind of a God being too, and people follow him like he's divinely something. But he has 87,000 followers. It is. The right person. I never knew about him. This is my first time. I've never traversed the internet like this before. So yes, that's the person. I'm not going to say his name because I don't want any attention as far as that's concerned. But the point is that our world has been overrun by these nasty energies that have that are trying to, what's the word? Masquerade. They're masquerading as God beings. Like to even have a greeting that says peace, God, and then you're talking about killing women and children. The thing is that people really believe in this kind of stuff. So it's one thing to laugh at him, but it's really no laughing matter that 87,000 people support him, and he has like he's living off of this reality. Like people are supporting him financially to do the things that he does. That's very concerning. So when we talk about the divine feminine or the dark aspect of the feminine, it is really recognizing the warrior aspect of the woman also. Because again, it doesn't mean, when you say dark, it doesn't always mean angry or warrior either. It just means unseen. And we have powers where we don't have to externally express ourselves. Our power is internal. Our power is directing our internal energy in a direction. And it's something that we've been villainized and discouraged from, as far as speaking our truth, being powerful. For the most part, we're villainized for being powerful. And, one example of that is the fact that prostitution is a crime. Because if you really think about that, it's like, how is that? Hey, greetings, welcome. Donnie goes in. I really appreciate you guys being here. Oh, thank you. I really appreciate that. And that's actually why I'm here, because, I've been wanting to have a voice for a long time. But now is the time. It wasn't time before. I needed I needed to work out some things for myself to then share, Now is the time, I believe, for everyone to step up and use their voice. The time for like celebrities and fake people with certificates. There's nothing wrong with having a certificate, but what I'm saying is that doesn't qualify you. A piece of paper that you paid for doesn't qualify you. It's experience, it's initiation, it's spirit that qualifies you, So, yeah, what I was saying was that as far as the dark feminine energy and how it has been villainized, prostitution, sexuality is something that men had to criminalize because they know that women have sexual power, and they had to demonize it so that a woman cannot overtly try to get any value from it, or she's a criminal. So that really empowers, like, politicians and those kind of people that are always, oppressing people and using them for sex and things like that. They have a way to always be able to attack powerful women who sexually are powerful, and it's really created a very dirty atmosphere as far as sex overall. It's made everything very nasty. The oppression of sexual energies, because sex is like one of the most powerful things we have in this world as far as creation. Of course, it makes babies. And when it doesn't make babies, people can use it to make anything else. You can manifest anything with sexuality if you focus properly, and especially if the two people are one in their focus. But those are things that we can never even utilize. Like, as Black people, the thing is, if men and women were unified and we were able to use our sexual power together harmoniously, we would be powerful. But they need for us to be separated. They need for Black men, I'm going to say Black men, but men overall, even white men. I mean, the world powers don't want men and women to be able to harmonize and work together, period. Their aim is to oppress everyone. So it's not just about Black people. It's just Black people are a major target. We're like the fodder at the bottom. But the reality is that there's an agenda against all families. There's an agenda against all men, all women, in reality. And in looking at that, I want to say that, because when I said that, I heard all lives matter. But I want to make it clear that it's not with the same intent, of course. Like, we have to, in order to beat the machine, we have to be able to unify with everyone who is not the machine. And so for me personally, I really, really love the idea of the Occupy movement with the 99%, as opposed to a polarity of how Black and white people are now like focused on each other. You know what I'm saying? I'm saying the Occupy movement was beautiful and they destroyed it. But that had real promise because people are at least clear. I love that. I love that as far as the reality. That is the reality. It's only the 1% that's the real problem. Because if we can turn that around, then we all have a chance at life. But if we get on the thing where we allow them to pit us all against each other, then we're done. And now is the time for us to use different strategies. So how can we use the dark feminine energy to support, our plight? How can we use it to protect ourselves in this reality, this dimension that we're in right now? You know, we have to go back to the beginning. We have to get back to we have to get back to spirit. We have to get back like to God, like in a real way, not in a book way, in a sit your ass down and be quiet and, you know, go to the river, go to nature, you know, really get in there, like get into yourself, you know, use all of the feminine arts, singing, you know, let your vocal cords resonate, use them to chant, you know, meditate, create a vision board, use sound therapy. You know, it's like you have to, when you deal with the dark feminine, you're creating from the inside. It's like you don't see it, you create it and make it seen. You are creating something that is not already in existence. So unlike what we're told, it's about not looking at the past or something that you've seen before. I mean, like, you can use it as inspiration, but the idea is as we move forward, we are spontaneous. You don't have to have it all planned out like they teach us. You know, like the way that they teach us to do things properly is to like read a book, get the equation, whatever they tell you to do, and then you just find an expert, follow something, right? But that's not how, you know, divine beings have to work. We have spirit inside of us. All of it, everything is inside of us. So it's all about creating. So before I came here to Mexico, I didn't conceptualize exactly what I was going to do here, what my life was going to be like here, you know? But to deal with the feminine energy has to do with being faithful and knowing that spirit is with you. And if you listen, you know that you'll be okay, that you are not alone. And so it's a whole different way to approach life. You know, it's really living in the now moment, staying on your toes, paying attention to everything, because you're looking for the signs from spirit as far as, you know, what the next step will be. So when I first came, it was before the quarantine. And I mean, I've had a serious adventure. A year ago, I would be really afraid. I would have been really afraid as far as everything that I've taken on. But it's like now, the road, it's like the yellow brick road manifested in front of me as I was going down the yellow brick road. It was manifesting, and it was manifesting according to whatever I was focused on in my own consciousness, you know? So I lived in the Mayan jungle for 3 months, like pretty much in isolation, in a situation where I could only cook on the fire. I didn't have a stove. I was cooking on an open fire. It was beautiful. I was washing in the cenote. I didn't have like a bathtub or anything like that. I was living on some land with a Mayan priest. He has land, and he has a pyramid on the land, and there's a cenote right underneath it. And that manifested for me. It was like a dream. And then, like right after I moved there, I had the past life regression, which is also dealing with the dark feminine energy, like the hidden unconscious, you know. And in my past life regression, it took me back to ancient Egypt, to pyramids. And I was a priestess, a Ma'at priestess in ancient Egyptian times in Kemet. And it like so resonated with me because it's basically all I've been about in my adult life. Ancient Kemet was my first foundation with Osiris. I grew up with images from ancient Egypt as a child, and it's always been a thing for me. So the fact that it all tied together while I've been here on this sacred land, and this is a very feminine energy land too. Like, it's known to be a feminine land, Tulum. It's very, or this area, the Mayan Riviera, the Mayan people, it's a very feminine, soft energy. I'm looking at the chat. Wow. You were a white man in a past life. That's very interesting. Yeah. In this particular one, I was still a Black woman, but I found out, like, I actually found a lot of connections to this life and other people, my mother, my ex-husband, my daughter, like I was connected to them in that life too. And it made so much sense, you know, it brings so much peace to my spirit to understand karmically why I'm in, you know, some of the situations that I'm in. But this is the kind of work that we all need to keep doing. When I was younger, I didn't even think that I was a spiritual person. Like, I would not have thought of myself as a spiritual person at all. I actually thought of myself as an intellectual person. I was raised that way. And so, even though I always had very deep spiritual feelings, I didn't think that I was that spiritual. I thought that other people were more spiritual than me or something like that. And it wasn't until I became a young adult and I was pulled, but I still didn't think of myself as necessarily being particularly gifted, you know. But now that I've gotten to my age and I look back, I see that, I mean, I've always been a very serious spiritualist. And now that I understand my astrology and all that kind of stuff, it just all makes so much sense. And it's just really, because I have studied a lot of the sacred sciences related to spirituality, as far as like ritualizing and things like that, you know, which people put like a bad name on, but ritualizing just means like doing something over and over again. And so it creates like layers of experience, you know. And for, you know, Black people and Native people, dancing, singing, um, doing, you know, visual arts, all the arts for us are things that tie us back, that are rituals. They tie us back. So like like if we have a particular dance that we do at a particular time, that's a ritual, you know. And one thing I'd like to offer to everyone here related to spirituality is that one of the most powerful things that you can do spiritually is pour libation. Yeah. Yeah, divination and calling on the answers. Actually, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Pouring libation. If you want to really tie into your spiritual self and really, get in tune with your dark feminine energy, pour libation to your ancestors. And the thing is that it doesn't have to be like anybody else. All you have to do is come with a very clean heart, and you can say whatever you want. Just come with a clean heart and ask spirit to be with you. You always give thanks. You always thank spirit, and whatever aspects of spirit that you work with, you give thanks. And then you can give, energy to whatever entities you want. I mean, that are, positive to support you, that you want to be near you. For the most part, I mean, different cultures have different ways of doing it, but for African Americans, to me, I mean, the most important thing is to understand the concept, and then we can create it however we feel comfortable. I really do value real languages, because the tongue does something also to use real African words, or not just African, but traditional languages. The words are magical. The word sound power is they're words of power. They're words where the the power comes from the sound of the word, not the meaning of the word, right? So in African languages and things like that, there's actual power in learning those words. So if you can, it's good to learn some of those things, but you don't have to. You don't have to do anything. The point is that we have a direct connection to spirit. And as long as you are willing to give up the things that you need to, and to walk in spirit, spirit will support you. If you start pouring libation in any way that you like, spirit will then bring the correct people to you to teach you the right way, if that's important. Whatever you need, the point is that if you go to spirit with an open heart, spirit will answer, as long as you're sincere. And I would also say that you should give an offering in some kind of way. So again, there are ways to do it in different traditions, in Yoruba and, whatever, Santeria, Lukumi, or, in Africa, the Ashanti or whatever. There are all different kinds of ways to give offerings. But the whole point is to understand the concept. It's very much like tithing. But tithing is when you give it to a person. But I mean, if you were to do an offering, for me, sometimes I'll buy things from children or old people, or make sure that my money goes toward an energy that I want to support. I do offerings to actual deities also, but I don't want to get into that if people aren't into that. But I'm just saying that the concept of giving offerings is something to look at. But just start with libation. Libation is something that will connect you directly to the ancestors, because they did it. And so the way that you do it is you just have a plant, and you just pour water into a plant. You're giving life to a plant, and you're talking to spirit as you give the water of life that we all depend on. It's very valuable. It's we don't value the most foundational things in our lives, like water, But when you give water to a plant, it's a very sacred thing to do. You're giving life. So yes, it's true. Nothing is free. Nothing is free. And anything that you want, you have to be ready to give up something for that. And if in your mind, you're saying that you cannot afford it to give something, then you're making that so. That's more like, it's more like a spell. If you take the stance that you cannot give an offering because you can't afford it, then you are making that declaration that you can't afford it, that no more money is coming to you. And so you can't. I mean, of course, there are times when you can't give like a lot of money, but we're not talking about that. I'm not talking about like going to someone else. I'm talking about you knowing what you have, choosing what you're giving. You can, I would just say to research, or if anyone is really interested in like the details of it, then, you can contact me if you're interested in finding out how to specifically work with spirit, more intimately, if you have an issue or if you need to. I'm available for consultation. For anything that I consult, I charge $25 an hour. So, and I do I Ching readings also. I Ching readings, which I have been using for 24 years now. I'm very well versed in using the oracles. So if anyone is confused about which way to go about something in particular, I Ching, it's the Chinese oracle. It's an I. Some people say I Ching too, but it's I. It's like the Chinese way of saying it is I Ching. Yeah. And the thing that I love about the I Ching, again, I've said before that, I mean, for adults, I would say that one of the best things that an adult can do, greetings, Roots Reggae girl, welcome. One of the best things that any adult can do is to learn how to use oracles yourself. And it's not hard. Like, you don't have to necessarily join a priesthood or anything. You just have to start. And that's actually something I could do too, is teach a class on the I Ching if anyone was interested in that. But I would highly recommend it, because as long as you have to go to someone else, I mean, it's good to work with people in your community, but it's good to be able to consult God directly and to work on that yourself. Howdy, greetings. Happy to have all you guys here. I really appreciate you being here. So yeah, the I Ching, and really being able to get counsel. It really helped me. When I was in Africa, I lived completely off of the I Ching in making important decisions. I didn't have any elders that we lived under, me and my ex-husband. So oracle readings, I mean, was my foundation. And trust me, when you're in another country, sometimes you really need to consult and figure it out, because it's like you're in a whole different world as far as the mentality of the people. It's like people just think differently, and you don't know what's safe to do, what's not safe to do all the time. So there's one time in particular when I was in Ghana, while my family was in Ghana, and it really saved, it was like a life or death situation where it really made a difference. Meaning, I'll just explain it really quick. We were in this group called Africania, which is not Africania, Africana. We were in two different groups. One was Africania, one is Africana. But Africana was the dance and culture group. That was AWA that we were part of. And my children were dancing in it. in funerals. They were going to AWA funerals with the AWA people and dancing. So it was like a really rich traditional experience to have, because the AWA are no joke. They practice Vodou, and they're very serious, and their dances are very serious too. But I was pregnant. I was like very pregnant with my last child at the moment. And so my oldest two at the time, they were about 7 and 9. They were about 6 and 8, 7 and 9, something like that. 6 and 8. And I couldn't go because I was pregnant. It wasn't safe for me to travel with them to go to this place. And so I did a reading on whether I should send my children with them. And it wasn't favorable. It was like, the reading was clearly like, it's very dangerous. Absolutely not. They cannot go. And so I just said no. And I mean, for the most part, like once you use the oracles for some time, I just follow them. Like, it's not like a thing, like it's a God and I'm following the God type of thing. It's like, or like it'll punish you if you don't follow it, but it's more like you just see the repercussions. It's like, it's an opportunity to ask God something and God tells you the truth. And if you don't listen, you'll find out why. It's not, you won't get punished, but you will see the logic of, why you didn't, the reading wasn't, ended up being what it was. So anyway, I didn't let my children go, and it was no problem. We just looked at it and decided no. And so the rest of the troop traveled, and on that trip, they actually had a car accident, and one of the members got killed. He got killed in a car accident. Like, my children could have been in that car. And then when that happened, they had a funeral for that dance member, and they traveled again into AWA country. And I did a reading on that, and it was very favorable. And they went to that funeral and spent the night in the AWA village. And it was they were in the village, and it was an extremely rewarding experience. Like, they still remember the richness of that, because again, that was someone who was inside of their culture group. So someone they were close to who passed away, they went to his hometown, and so the whole village was celebrating or dealing with his death. And the way that they do it is really spiritual and incredible. In this particular village, the way that they did it was, first of all, for the AWA, they did a reenactment of the death. They do a reenactment. They have the people act out, the person who died act out like what was going on when the death happened. And then they have a session where everybody runs around screaming and crying because they're so sad. But that's part of the release of the energy, And then after that, then they dance. And the way that they dance, my children were like so amazed, because they said that it was like the whole village was vibrating, is what they said. And if you know anything about AWA people and the way they dance, they do a dance called Abaja that looks like this. Their traditional dance looks like this. I don't know if you can see in this dress, but they pop their back. Okay. But when they were doing this dance, because they do like really, they do dances that a lot of people cannot do. Let's put it that way. The way they move. They were doing a dance where they said they were vibrating. And I don't know exactly, but I'm guessing it's something like this. Like, they have a dance where they do that. But like in rhythm altogether. So that really affected my children very deeply. That it's like to see family and community come together and express love for one another the way that they do is very, very powerful. But to me, to be quite honest, that's another very good example of that divine dark female energy. When I talk about the AWA, right? That dance, Abaja, that's a magical dance. Trust you and me that when they're whipping their spine back and forth like that, getting that Kundalini energy up, and they're all focused on whatever they're focused on in their minds, they're using that dance. And when people die, what they do is they have a special ritual as far as how they deal with that too. They have wake keepings where they put the person who passes, they decorate their entire house in lace, and they put them in their bed, and they decorate their whole room in white lace. And on the outside of the house, all the people dance all night long in the white keep. They have drummers that don't stop. I think they started maybe like, I don't know, sometime in the afternoon. Actually, no, I think they start first thing in the morning, but like the drummers start at like 5 a.m, but people come and like all day they drum. They never stop, all day into the evening for like 2 or 3 days. And people are dancing, and the way that they dance is they put two men and a woman in between, or two women and a man in between, and the person in between is dancing, and they look to one side at one person, and then they turn and they look to the other side at the other person, and they're giving each other very deep eye contact while they're doing this dance. And it's like everyone's on the floor together, but they're just grouped in threes like that. And there's no doubt in my mind that that is a very powerful community ritual of energy transference that they're doing. When you look at it, as far as the male-female energy polarities, they always have to do it like that. And then they have the whole community together doing it to drums and all that. That's powerful. It's really, really powerful. And that's what we need to get back to. You know, they've retarded our communal time. Now we're dancing to demonic music. We're dancing to demonic music, and it's putting us in hypnosis, and it's causing us to not have love anymore. So instead of accepting that, we have to be aggressive, you know. We have to give up the idea of being good, you know, of being obedient. Yeah, all of it. All of it was all by design. So it's time for us to take personal responsibility. And dark feminine energy is about being comfortable with rebellion. Yeah, it's true. They're yeah, they've been assassinating a lot of people lately. But yeah, I mean, this is the time. This is the time. We have to really focus on love in our hearts again. And we have to get comfortable with a little justified anger too. And like, you know, get balanced by any means necessary. not be afraid of our power. As brown people especially, we know that we have serious power. Yeah, no, Kanye is not crazy. You know what I really think about Kanye? I think they MK'd ultraed him. I mean, I think that he still has remnants of, he's a genius. But when they took him to the hospital against his will, for sure they did something to his brain. And he hasn't been the same since. So, yeah, I have much respect for people like him and like Lauryn Hill, like those people who have lost their mind because they're so sensitive and they care so much. And then the system, they do something to them, like gave the ultimate sacrifice. Lauryn Hill, when she did Unplugged, that album, if you guys haven't heard the Unplugged album by Lauryn Hill, to me, honestly, it's one of the best albums of all time. I'm gonna be like real. If you listen to the Unplugged album by Lauryn Hill, when she passes, they're going to say that it's one of the best albums of all time. Because she's speaking truth to power. She's talking about all of this that we're experiencing right now. She was talking about it then, and that's why they attacked her. And yes, the MTV Unplugged special. The album. Listen to the album, you guys. Listen to the album. That's the dark feminine energy right there. Lauryn Hill. And she hasn't been the same since. I went to go see her actually the last time she performed right before she went to prison, because they put her in prison for not paying taxes. And she wasn't the same. Her energy was very unsettled. It was like she has this thing now where she raps really fast, so it's like the rhythm of it is gone. And to me, I don't like that. Like she didn't even perform Unplug at all when I went to go see her. None of it. So like something happened. Like they don't let her perform it. She doesn't perform Unplugged. She only performs Miseducation and stuff with the Fugees. And then she's come out like a song or two besides that. But Unplugged, they don't let her perform that. Oh, she does Zion? Yeah, but Zion's not Unplugged. Zion is Miseducation. It's a beautiful song about her son. I like that song. I think it's really beautiful. But Unplugged is when she doesn't have any studio stuff. It's just her and the guitar. And it's yeah, Antiquity, the Mystery of Antiquity, all of that. That's my lick. I listened to that back to back when I was in Africa because I felt the same way. I was really feeling beat up about the system at the time. Yeah. So when I get off of here, I'm going to listen to it. I'm very encouraged. I mean, I'm inspired by her courage. But like I said, she gave up a lot. Anja Africa. Hola, Aquaba. Welcome. Just talking a little bit about feminine energies that are needing to rebalance this thing that we're in right now. got on the topic of Lauryn Hill and the Unplugged album, all the truth she came out with and the backlash she got from it. Never been right since. Like, she paid the ultimate price. Much love to her. Much love and compassion to her and Kanye and all of our unsung heroes that go down and don't get, the honoring that they really deserve just for standing up for all of us. But I would say that now is not the time to step out and fight the world powers. Now is the time to just gather yourself inside. Don't waste your energy because you're valuable, and we're all about to go through a very challenging time. So the best thing you can do is take care of your body. Make sure you're getting all the best nutrition. Make sure that you're getting enough sleep. Make sure that you're uplifted and happy. Like, figure out a way to uplift yourself. Right now is a time for us to really show ourselves how much we care about ourselves and show spirit how much you love yourself, because that is then what's going to be reflected back to you as far as your own worth. So please care for yourself, slow down, be very vigilant. Don't get swept up in crazy energies. It's really important from now until the new year to be very grounded. They're very, very serious aggression energies. I don't know if you guys have heard about the rumors of war that are going on right now with America and Israel and Iran. But regardless of whether that happens, we're definitely not in Kansas anymore. We're dealing with a whole new world. Oh, you're leaving for Ghana on Tuesday. Oh, wow. Blessings. Oh, hey. Hey, Saeed. I didn't know you were here. Welcome. Yes, we were just talking about dark feminine energies and how we need to learn how to work with them. Thank you, Saeed. How we need to learn how to work with them in order to deal with the very serious challenge that we're all facing. Because this is, thanks. You like the lights? Yeah, the lights are funky, right? They make me happy. Why not? ¿Por qué no? You missed the dance. I started out with the dance because, again, we're talking about the divine feminine energies. And so talking is good as far as communication, but, we have other ways of communicating, other feminine ways of communicating. So dancing, singing are also beautiful ways to communicate. And we need to become more artistic. We need to explore our creative selves. We've been birthed into a world where we've been told to stay in a box. And we were never meant to be in a box. Right now, what we all need to do is to make a list of all of those things that we've wanted to experience in life, all of those things that, are interesting, things that maybe you thought were not for you for whatever reason. the little voice told you it wasn't for you. It just might be for you now. Because whoever you were last year, you're stepping into 2021 as a new person. And that means to release all of the dogma, whatever rules that you were given that are not correct. It's time to throw it out, and also to get a different confidence about yourself. You know, all those things that we were told that we couldn't do, and all the reasons why we couldn't. We know it's not true. But then it's also, you know, just having the right spirit about taking something on. You know, you really have to kind of remother yourself. If you don't have a mother or a parent that's a cheerleader for you, then this world can be pretty rough, because it's always trying to tear you down. And it's a situation where you really have to be able to tap into your inner child and then mother that inner child, so that you're not needy when you're dealing with relationships. You can't expect anyone else to fill your cup. You know, and I'm speaking from, you know, lessons that I myself have learned. So I'm not just talking, you know, just to be talking. I definitely have put myself, I'm disciplining myself. I'm uplifting myself. My time in Mexico has been about isolating myself so that I can be my source of everything. And so I can like get a rhythm, knowing exactly what my own rhythm is without anyone else's input, you know. And it's a blessing for any of you who are divorced, as I am, as Saeed is, and I'm sure lots of people are divorced. You know, just know that it's such a blessing to have a second chance at life, you know. To be in a bad marriage is seriously like being in prison. So it's like to be out and to be free and to have choices as a grown person who knows yourself. I mean, what's better than that? You know, divorce is not a bad thing. Divorce is like such a blessing in an oppressive situation. So that's something that I definitely want to have a show on, is how to thrive instead of just surviving after divorce. That's a really exciting one. Because we're told that we're not important. Like the only way that you can make a decision as an adult to do something is like to say that it's for other people, for your children, or, you know, like you always have to be selfless. But that's not true. Like we have to be the captain of our own ship. We have to be the person who makes the decisions in our lives, and we don't have to apologize to anybody or, you know, explain anything to anybody. As a grown person, you could say, no, I don't, no. This is how I'm going. This is what I'm doing. And it's a blessing. It's a blessing just to be free. It's like, what are we going to do with our freedom, family? What are we going to do with our freedom? Because it's like, you know, having a channel, you can bring focus to anything, right? But again, everything is about intention. So it's my intention to contribute and to build, like in a positive way. Even if sometimes we have to go through some difficult conversations, the focus is always to build and to have positivity at all times. So with that in mind, but let me check my notes and make sure there's nothing else that I wanted to say about the dark feminine. Yeah, I think I said everything. Oh, there's one thing that I wanted to say is that, because I didn't mention this, is that, a lot of us have been raised with, as far as women, with the Cinderella complex. And that's around being a slave somewhere in a house waiting for a man to, to come save us and to take care of us. Like, we're not able, like, once you're grown, you're not really still grown. You know what I'm saying? And I can say that I personally dealt with that in my own situation, because I definitely grew up with Cinderella, and I definitely fantasized as a child about that kind of thing. And I was raised by a mother who saw life in the way, like like you groom yourself to find a man. Yes, Prince Charming on his white horse, right, with his castle and everything. And of course, he's going to choose you and be faithful and, all of that, right? But it's like, by even having that mindset, you've already lost. Even if you find a Prince Charming, you're not going to have anything to offer, because your mindset is only going to bring him down. That's nothing that we should be teaching our daughters at all. So we need to throw that whole idea out, because that also falls into the idea that's being a good girl. Like, she was slaving in that house somehow because she thought that was what the honorable thing to do, even though they were treating her like Jack. I'm not trying to curse. So we have to get out of that idea. I have to fight to get out of that idea myself. Well, actually, I'm out of that idea, but I've had to work my way very seriously out of that. I was very debilitated, and I really feel like I'm just now getting out of it from my time being alone here. So for anyone who has a very serious codependency where you're always like wanting to be with people and feel, to feel good, it's a very healthy thing to not be in a relationship and to not be needy. It's like all adults need to learn how to be single. And that's something that I had never done before. So now as I'm approaching 50 years old, I am now just starting to feel like I'm coming out of adolescence as a woman in my mindset. I mean, I've studied different things, and all that, but I mean, as far as my confident expression of things openly as a woman, I am just now feeling like my throat chakra is activated, and like I'm in control of all of this, and I don't really care what anybody has to say or think related to who I am and what I'm about. So I don't think I mentioned this in the last thing, but I have an OnlyFans page. And for me, it was a really huge thing to do, because I've always been afraid of male energy, because male energy was threatening to me. And because I always looked at it like a little girl, because I looked at it like I couldn't assert myself and that I couldn't be powerful. And so I was sitting around waiting, like, on men for something to activate me in some kind of a way. Meanwhile, I went through a marriage that was not satisfying, and tried to play the good girl role and, the dedicated martyr mothering role where, I'll hold up everything. Even if he lets everything go, I will be the one to make sure that everything's okay, and I can just put everything on my back, right? And my sexual self wasn't even important at all as far as that's concerned, because it's survival. Of course, if someone is like not right with you energetically, then it's just dead in the water. I was married 15 years. So anyway, I had never even really dated before I was married. Like, I dated a little. But what I did was I always jumped into relationships. So I never dated. I never saw more than one man at a time, because I guess I was wired to look for a Prince Charming. So I would only be open to the Prince Charming. And as soon as I felt like I had one, I would act like a wife and cut everybody else out and be crazy. I mean, I'm saying that about myself. I really wasn't crazy, but my view of relationships was crazy, and it messed me up it stopped me, it retarded me from developing properly, because now what I would say is that I think it's healthy. I think it's healthy to date, in the sense of getting to know what you like by getting to spend time with different people. I don't think it's healthy to have sex with a lot of people, but I do think it's healthy to date a lot of people, to spend time with, because anyway, I think it's healthy also to have friends that it's not a sexual thing also. And in a balanced relationship, people are like individual human beings that have lots of relationships with people, and there's nothing threatening because both people are whole. They're not needing anything. They're just choosing to be together because they feel good about that idea. But it's not because they feel like they have to, for survival or something, or for obligation, So now that I'm not married anymore, I'm divorced, and I've only dated a little bit since I've been divorced. Of course, part of it is because of the trauma from the divorce and dealing with my family. I didn't really want to mix too much. But now that I'm not traumatized anymore, I am really seeing things differently. Like, I had never been on Tinder before. Now I'm on Tinder and I've talked to people, and I'm like just open to new experience. But then also with the OnlyFans piece, like, I've always been a dancer, meaning that I've done lots of different kinds of dance. I've done African dance. I was a cheerleader in high school and at Howard, and ooh la la dancer. I've been on like a number of different dance teams and things like that. I've always danced, and dancing is what I do. I've been a Zumba instructor. I love dancing. But before, I would do it and like somehow feel uncomfortable. Like, I would only feel comfortable if I could like block out the idea that people are watching me in my mind. So I'm getting over that now. Like, I'm starting to express myself sensually and enjoying it, and enjoying sharing that with people, and not having any guilt or shame around my body, because I love my body, and I'm very happy at my age to have a body that I love. And honestly, I don't want to die without enjoying my body. That would be very sad, because Spirit blessed me, and I have worked very hard to take care of my body. And so this is like a new thing for me. I was actually like, before in the past, I didn't feel safe. And that again is part of the it's the script in patriarchal society. The whole thing as far as like, why do prostitutes need pimps? The society like tells women that we're not safe and that we have to have men to protect us from other men, because men are like in on it together on some agreement that they're not going to allow us to be safe. Like as far as the idea of a woman getting raped because she's wearing a short skirt. It's an accepted notion that if a woman is wearing something where you can see her body in some kind of way, that a man is justified in tearing it off of her and forcing his penis inside of her, because she should have known that she has no right to be beautiful. She has no right to show her body when men can walk around with no tops on and they're not shamed. We have women who are breastfeeding and are shamed. So we really have to look at those things. And so for me, myself, I've decided that I'm not going to carry that anymore. Also, I'm not going to agree to that. I'm not going to hold that agreement that I'm going to hold shame around my body. And if I wanted to show my breasts, it's nothing to me to show my breasts. I think breasts are beautiful. I wouldn't do it, of course, on a platform where it's not appropriate, but I support women in showing our breasts. I think we should show our breasts more. I think that we should not be self-denying the way men tell us that we should, because it will show that we're bad or out of control or whatever. I support women in rebelling against that. If you feel like you want to rebel, different women need different things, but there are women who want to show their bodies. There are women who need to express themselves in certain ways. And yeah, we need to do that. And so my OnlyFans is a celebration of myself and my body, and not having that voice in my head or anyone else's voice making me feel any kind of way about it. If it's not for someone, then it's fine. They don't have to subscribe. Yeah. So these are the things I encourage people to do. I encourage people to challenge the status quo around the ideas of femininity having to be weak and not being a force. And whatever men are on here, I ask you to please, scoot over. Make some room. Make some room for your sisters, because we've proven ourselves. I mean, don't get me wrong. I know there are some skanky women and men out there, real janky, traumatized folks out there, a lot. But when we have good groups like this, when we're building our own communities, we don't have to sit around and talk about those people so much. We can more talk about the lessons that we've learned and how we know there are good people. I know there are good people on this channel, so I don't need to talk about how there are no good men. You know what I mean? I don't need to do that, because that wouldn't be honoring the spirits that are here right now. And that's what it's all about, is just honoring, being thankful, getting away from the idea that we're not happy with what we have and we need to create ideas of bigger fantasies in order to be happy. Instead, look at what's right around you. Look at the blessings that spirit has put right around you. and see what you can do to grow that into something beautiful. Look at your relationships. How can you, in small ways, support your relationships? How can you support women? You men there, that is a way to give offerings. Give offerings to women. If you know women who are having a hard time, who are good people, who aren't trying to manipulate you, um, give a kind word, do whatever you can. And I mean, women too, let's be supportive of our men. Let's, not look to them like we're children, like they're supposed to be giving us and we're just supposed to be receiving that way. Like, we have loving energies. Let's, be loving, because our men, they need nurturing, they need caring. And as long as we are fostering healthy relationships, we should really see about how to exchange love more in different ways, and not related to sex or romanticism, but love in the sense of, we are human beings on this earth. We are family. And in order to survive and thrive in this situation that we're put in, we really need to see new ways of working together. And so that's what this channel is about for me. Excuse me. I really want to just explore how to build and how to work with all of you. So, please, give me some feedback if there's anything that I've spoken on and you'd like for me to speak, more on it. I can do that. I just kind of go from my heart once I start. I have a few talking points that I want to touch on, but besides that, it's pretty much from my heart. But I have so many things to share. I have so many things that I want to share. I just can be all over the place. So I want to make sure that I am giving a service and not just rambling on to myself. So I'm really looking forward to when we can have a group conversation again. It was really fun with Saeed, and he is going to help me to learn how to do it myself. I don't know how to do any of that stuff. I just started, so I can just start live streaming, keep it simple, and then figure out the rest. So that's what I'm doing. So thank you so much, everyone, for making it out. I'm really encouraged. This is brand new for me. So I'm really encouraged by you receiving me the way you have. And yeah, let's just keep this thing going. Definitely look out. Please like and subscribe and share and all of that. I'm going to do a lot better about putting information on my underneath my videos as far as the different things I offer. I offer spiritual consultations and e-king readings if anyone's interested in that. And also consultations around, the repatriation thing, and, how to look at if you're trying to make a big move. And I have my clothing on Redbubble, the AscensionLife clothing, and home decor and those kinds of things. I have my retreats. I'm just going to make a nice little list and just share it with all of you. That's another thing that I just really have to work on is my promotions. But for now, yeah, I really just appreciate the process, getting the ball rolling and having you all with me. And I look forward to sharing with you again, probably tomorrow. I'm going to keep it going. I'm going to try to do this every day, because I always have something that I can share. Always I have something I can talk about. Okay, I will in the description. I will. As soon as I close this link, I will put all of my, when I close this video, I'll put all my links in the description. Okay? So thank you, all of you, Roots Reggae, Donnie Goes In, Anja, Africa. There was someone else at the beginning that I wanted to. Oh, the Global Green Book. I don't know if she's still there. But anyway, thank you, family. I appreciate you guys, and I'll be connecting with you soon. So as always, keep ascending, keep taking it higher. That's what we're here for. That's why we decided to come at this very important time in history. We came here. We chose to come here because we're on a divine mission. We're on a divine assignment. So keep ascending. Okay. Have a good night. Peace.